away from something that's much bigger than a win in Omaha. The 1-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging. Gage Wood no-hits him, and the Hogs win it 3-0. The greatest game ever pitched at the University of Arkansas. Here in downtown Omaha, Gage Wood throws a no-hitter and completes the game with 19 strikeouts, his last 5. They're coming out to mob Gage Wood, who pitched the game of his life.
What a day. I mean, wow. What a day. It's like all of a sudden the entire state of Arkansas came together yesterday afternoon. I mean, I heard from everybody. I mean, literally, it was like a cross-section of people. Man, what about that Gage Wood?
Well, it's always big when you have a big Arkansas moment, but when it's so big that it's an also national moment.
Right.
And everybody's talking about it, and you're getting interviewed on SportsCenter.
Yes.
And, the requests are coming out of the woodwork, and that's your guy. I mean, that's a moment.
And
for an Arkansas kid.
That's right.
An Arkansas kid to have that performance on the biggest stage for the Arkansas Razorbacks, and then to immediately take his hand and go across the front of his chest and say Arkansas. And that's his first instinct. That is what Arkansans puff their chest out about.
Oh, this guy he'll live forever. He's part of the lore now. They'll be talking about this when we're gone.
Legacy stuff.
This is a legend was born yesterday. I mean, pick your phrase. And they all apply because what he did yesterday is storybook stuff. I mean, you just, on the biggest stage, to do it the way he did it. And the way I think we all imagine ourselves doing it. When we're a little kid and we're throwing the tennis ball against the brick house in the backyard and we're imagining that we're an out away from throwing the no-hitter. And then we do it. He did it exactly as we imagined ourselves doing it when we were a child. And it was just a great moment. And, in the grand scheme of things, there's still a tournament to play. Yeah, and there's no guarantee that there's going to be a storybook finish. But yesterday was storybook, and we'll remember it for a long, long time.
Where's the ball right now?
I gave it to my dad, said happy late Father's Day.
The sound bites and the answers were all about that short.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so direct. He's so punchy.
Yeah.
And it was just so incredible to watch, to me, Chuck, his demeanor as you were describing there. Everything, when somebody has a heroic moment, there's something about us that wants it to be a certain way, like as you imagine.
Sure,
right?
that's right.
And that doesn't always make us right. But when those things all come together and you have that heroic moment, you have that legendary moment, and then somebody behaves in the manner in which he did, and the instinctive reaction that he had to the whole thing, including going over to the Murray State dugout to find Connor Cunningham, his buddy, his former teammate, the shortstop for Murray State, who had to strike out, 3 times en route to this performance, which none of those were easy when they were facing each other. But for him to have the presence of mind to go be that guy for his hometown of Batesville, I was just thinking, if you're in Batesville this morning, as you talked about yesterday, if you're in Batesville this morning, how much pride do you have in the way this guy handled himself about your hometown on the biggest stage in his biggest moment, and he really didn't make it about him?
No, I mean, it was...
It was about Arkansas. It was about Batesville. It was about his friends. It was about the people that helped him get there. And that was so on display. So the whole moment just came together in this immediate, instant, classic, legacy, legendary type moment.
There's nothing like the College World Series. I'm telling you. We talked about this last week. They're great college sporting events. I mean, try to beat the Final Four. I mean, go ahead and try. Try to beat the college football playoff. I mean, you're not going to. But there's something about Omaha. I mean, there's magic there. And we saw it yesterday.
Did you feel any added pressure when you're working on a no-hitter perfect game in the later innings?
Yeah, when I hit the guy in the foot, I knew I screwed it over.
Well,
that was the first thing he said on the field after the game when the ESPN reporter for the game was asking him about it. The first thing he said was, "I shouldn't have hit that guy."
Yeah.
And by the way, it was kind of fluke. I mean, he barely hit the guy's toe.
At first,
on a
I thought it hit
curveball
the
in
mitt first.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Right. It was an inch away, 2 or 3 inches away from the mitt. And for a lot of people, how many times have we seen a moment like that in a no-hitter kind of ruin it, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Base
kind of
hit
it.
in the ninth,
That's
you know.
kind of it.
Yeah.
They got to go get the guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of just the wheels come off pretty quickly right there. And he just kept going. I mean, to be throwing 97, 98 in the last inning to 119 pitches. Charlie Boyce called last night, and he said he thinks he can go again today.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. Wood's going to pitch tonight.
He did not, but it made me think about it,
Yeah,
How
that
many
was
words- because he didn't look tired. He didn't look like he was wearing down.
You know, and I said this after the game. I put it in our group text. You'd be hard pressed to find a major league manager guys leave after 7 innings of no-hit baseball. I'm not going to say every week, but it's not all that uncommon. And you know, you think about Arkansas. Every no-hitter they've had since 1996 has been a combined no-hitter. It's just not something that you see that much anymore. And I wondered, quite honestly, about the 6th or the 7th. I wondered to myself, will they let him finish? And I don't think they would have had any, I don't think they could have kept him off the field.
Well, I'd like to give a tip of the cap to Jim Eller and Jim Wixon. Okay, anybody know who those guys are?
The other two?
The other two that threw no-hitters in the College World Series. One of them was in 1950. That was Jim Eller, Texas. And the other one was 1960, Jim Wixon, Oklahoma State. Joining that group, and the first no-hitter in the modern era of the College World Series since 1960, Gage Wood.
You know, and the thing, I don't know that I've seen a pitcher be more dominant than he was yesterday. Murray State never caught up to the fastball, ever. From the first inning to the 9th inning. They had not seen velocity like that. That was something that you could tell they just couldn't get there. And he dominated them throughout the ball game. They were, right up to the last strike. They were late on that fastball.
It's incredible. It's you've seen and heard all kinds of things. If you've been on social media, you've watched the news, you've watched SportsCenter. 21 just consecutive batters go down to start the game for him.
Well,
21 of the first 27. You hit the guy. By the way, there's no controversy in the other guy who got hit. I mean, you can't do what he did, where they ended up calling him out. The guy tried to get hit by the pitch.
That was, if you follow college baseball, that was clearly the correct call. Now, I don't know that you apply that same standard in the big leagues. In the big leagues, somebody might have gotten thrown out of the game. I don't know. But the college rule is very clear. To me, that was an obvious call. That was the correct call. I mean, to me, based on the college rule, and I've called a lot of college games, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it wasn't even close.
So retired the first 21 batters, ends up with 19 strikeouts. Most strikeouts for a Razorback pitcher since Jess Todd had 17 in 2007 at the SEC tournament against South Carolina. Again, the third ever no-hitter at the Men's College World Series, but the first since many of us have been alive. 1960 was the last one. And the first Hog no-hitter since Richie Nye in 1996 that went 9 innings. And it comes 59 days after he returns from a shoulder injury. Part of this might be, sometimes a blessing in disguise to be able to rehab, come back, be really strong at this time of the year. And good for him. Good for the Razorbacks. What a moment. And it was that was not what any of us expected when we talked about the game yesterday. I had lunch with my son and saw some guys, and then we, were eating lunch in the first part of the game, and we're walking out. It's, the 4th inning. It's 1-0. And I jokingly said to these guys, you think one run will be enough? And of course, everybody said no. But nobody had a no hitter. Dang near perfect game. dialed up yesterday for Gage Wood. And this is what you love about sports. Like, you really don't know what's going to happen.
Well, and look, tonight's going to be a big night, and
This is a wild day.
And there have been developments since that no-hitter that have a direct effect on Arkansas. I mean, LSU did not get to finish their game with UCLA last night. They're going to resume at 10 o'clock this morning. They've only played 3 innings, so they've got another 2 hours ahead of them. And then I don't know if that's going to throw things behind schedule or not. There's a 5-hour window, obviously, between the 1 o'clock and the 6 o'clock game. So there's a better chance of the 6 o'clock game starting on time than the 1 o'clock game. But, you know, that's advantage Arkansas. I don't know that it's going to mean anything ultimately tonight. But I think that when you look at it, certainly from the outside looking in, that's advantage Arkansas.
We're going to hear from Phil Elson, the voice of the Razorbacks, who called the final play later in the show, and Price Holmes, former Razorback football player, who was Gage's strength coach at Batesville.
And, you know, Price is a Batesville guy. I mean, Price is one of those guys, he's kind of like Gage. I mean, he came out of Batesville, grew up dreaming of playing for the Razorbacks, went back home, strength coach. That's a tight-knit town. And as you said a little bit earlier, they're all up early today, I promise you.
All right, those are some of our thoughts. What are yours? 877-377-6963. Gage Wood said Omaha on fire yesterday. And what a legacy and a memory that everyone will have for a lifetime. And certainly he has made himself some money as he is draft eligible when this season concludes. It's 6:14, Chuck and Bo Show, 877-377-6963. You can call, text. What a performance. Really a performance of a lifetime for the Razorbacks and Gage Wood in Omaha. Everybody's welcome to their opinion. That's just flat out wrong.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Hey, you can beat inflation and upgrade your ride at Chevy of Fayetteville. Right now, drive home a brand new Chevy Silverado, Blazer, Equinox EV, or the Tough 2500 with rates as low as 1.9% APR. Plus, take advantage of huge discounts and get top dollar for your trade-in. Go see Chris, Mark, and Denver at Chevy of Fayetteville, where the deals are big and the road ahead is even better. Chevy of Fayetteville. Let's drive.
Hey, want to fly like a VIP? With Jet Aircraft, you skip the TSA lines, skip baggage claim, and fly on your schedule. The plane doesn't leave until you get there. You enjoy a full bar and food service for up to 9 passengers and plenty of room for luggage. Wherever you need to fly to or from, whether it's a special trip to the College World Series or golfing with buddies, round up your crew, split the cost, and fly private. Also, ask about the Jet card. Visit jetnwa.com. That's Jet with 2 T's.
It's going to be a tough slog from now till the end of time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I was really dorky. As I'm sure it's a shock for you guys to realize.
Is that right?
Oh, I was a total dork.
What a great story.
No, now I'm an older dork.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You know, I was thinking yesterday when the game was over, Dave in the post-game press conference and Gage Wood and even Phil there in his call, as good as it was, you could tell everybody was like, you're just kind of overcome with excitement. And you know, it struck me after the game. I'm not sure Dave really knew what to say, you know, and Gage Wood was very brief in his comments, and you could tell he was searching for the right word. It's so emotional because, again, we as television observers sometimes don't have a full appreciation for this. I mean, from the moment the game's over, there's somebody dragging him to an interview. You know, Gage went over and talked to the Cunningham kid, and if you noticed on the television, they were trying to get him over to talk to the Westwood One radio people.
Well, and they were trying to get him to TV before he got to TV.
Yeah, and so they were.
That was a very short interview for the radio people. I don't know if you were watching.
I was.
Like you and I are. More observant of that maybe than most because we're familiar with it. But that interview did not go well. I couldn't hear what was being said.
No, it was terrible.
But it didn't last very long.
You could just see it.
And his teammates came and got him and dragged him out of the interview.
Well, and you could also tell in the television interview, the young woman kept. I'm sure the producer's in her ear telling her, you know, we got to stretch, but she kept trying to ask a question that would get a long answer.
Yeah.
I mean, every answer was short. She's searching for a question that just as good as get him to talk. I watched him last night on I was looking over to see if the LSU-UCLA game would resume, and I watched SportsCenter at 9 o'clock. Poor old David Lloyd's trying to, you can tell that we've got 4 minutes blocked out, and we're going to have Gage Wood on for this certain amount of time. And just because you give a shorter answer doesn't mean the interview is going to go more quickly. It means you're going to get asked more questions. Coaches and players make this mistake all the time. They think if I'll just give a shorter answer, I'll get out of here sooner. It doesn't work like that. This guy kept asking question after I felt so sorry for him. And finally, Gage gave him about 20 seconds in an answer. And it was like touchdown Arkansas, man. I mean, he finally got there. He finally got a long answer out of it.
It's not his jam.
No,
he's not like he's just being him.
No, I'm not being critical. I'm just saying the whole thing just amused me because I've played that game before.
He's just direct and tells you exactly what he's thinking, and it doesn't last very long.
I really just want to go out there and give my team a chance to win a ball game and keep playing. You know, I didn't want to go home, and thankfully I get to put that Arkansas jersey on again tomorrow.
I love that guy called timeout with 2 strikes, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Gage just started spitting.
Yeah. Man, that guy, I mean, to do that, and that's like laying down a bunt in the 9th inning to break up a no-hitter. Yeah. I mean, that's just not, that's just not good.
He's like, I don't think this is going to work, pal.
Yeah. Coach Hobbs came and talked to me in the 8th, and all he said was, I need you to be honest with me. How do you feel? And I told him that I was not coming out of that ball game.
Yeah, there's no chance.
Here's Hobbs. Had to fight him.
Here's Hobbs' side of that.
I said one thing to him in the 8th inning going into the 9th. I just asked how he was feeling, and I told him to calm down.
They did a pretty good job of keeping him calm. I mean,
nobody was talking to him.
Did you see the look in his eyes on the mound?
Yes.
I mean,
in the dugout.
Well, I mean, the point is that they did a good job of keeping him calmed down because, I mean, he just he was like, I thought he was going to just explode like the Incredible Hulk.
He looked like a stone-cold assassin.
He really did.
I mean, he was on a mission.
He really did.
And in the dugout, nobody's talking to him. I think the only thing that happened during the game is at one point he changed socks, you know, and they had a fan on him, and he's just sitting in there. And, you know, it was such a weird game. Like, if you zoom out away from the Gage Wood, you know, heroics, you have this Arkansas offense that only scored 3 runs. And I give Murray State pitching some credit. Look, when you get to this point, you're going to face really good pitching and really good teams. And Murray State did as well as you could expect a team to do against Arkansas on the mound yesterday. Arkansas hit it hard a few times and just hit it right at guys, you know, left guys in scoring position. But I think there was this there was this also a little bit of I don't know. I was thinking about this. I was like, this is weird because it's 3-0. You got a guy in the mound. How long are you going to let him go? And as heroic and awesome and legendary as a no-hitter can be, is it going to mess up any decision-making that could then lead to a tight game at the very end? Because 3 runs doesn't take much to make up. You walk a guy, somebody gets a infield single, and the next thing you know, the tying runs at the plate. But Gage didn't let any of that happen.
Lots of times when a guy's pitching a gem, the pitcher for the other side's a competitor. It's not uncommon to see that pitcher match him pitch for pitch. We saw this with Gackle in the game against LSU. He was matching Anderson pitch for pitch. Arkansas was not going to catch up and win that game, just like Murray State was not going to catch up yesterday. Those 3 runs might as well have been 15. And you'll see the pitcher for the other side pitch well, maybe pitch above his head a little bit. Arkansas's got to get their bats going tonight, but I'm not alarmed and not surprised, frankly, that the game was a 3-0 game. And I'll state this further, that if it was an 8 or 9-0 game, I doubt Wood finishes and I doubt he throws a no-hitter.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. 877-377-6963. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank. They'll be talking about this all over the state today, and I'm pretty sure in every single branch, which is a lot all over our state. More convenient locations, helping Arkansans bank better. First Security Bank, fsbank.com. You can find them online. Friendly local banking is how you bank better. First Security Bank, member FDIC, the official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show. All right, it's Tuesday. Hogs play, scheduled to play tonight at 6. Weather could be another factor today. Mm-hmm. The LSU-UCLA game with LSU leading 5-3. What are we in the 3rd inning?
They just finished the 3rd.
Going to the 4th inning, scheduled to start at 10 a.m. today. Then there's another scheduled game at 1 from the other side of the bracket. And then Arkansas is playing the winner of this or loser of this UCLA-LSU game this morning at 10, tonight at 6. That's the schedule. Will we end up being or staying on schedule? Yeah. There is some margin in there. You could get a delay, an hour or whatever, and still not move games around. And then the 1 o'clock game, that's obviously 5 hours between 1 and 6. So if you got delayed an hour, the Arkansas game still could be scheduled and on time around 6 o'clock tonight. But this is one of the things you got to deal with. Remember when Tony Vitello was on and he talked about chaos?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we're talking about. Chaos is a no-hitter. Chaos is a fluke hit by batter or hit by pitch. It's a rain delay. It's you have a starter in LSU who goes out and throws, I'm just guessing, 40 pitches or whatever, and now you're not going to have him for today to finish this game off. And when do you use that guy again? I mean, these are all the things that end up happening in this sort of tournament scenario.
Well, and today may end up being from a tournament perspective, a more significant day than yesterday because of the weather. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's showing 75% chance pretty much, all day. Not that means it's going to rain all day, but it's going to rain at some point, it looks like. And, we talked about how they'd condense this by a day. And so they did this a few years ago. And so you don't have this much cushion built in as you once did. And that's why they waited late last night before they finally banged it. So Arkansas could play at 9 o'clock tonight. It wouldn't surprise me. They'll do everything they can to get them all in today.
Brent's fired up. I bet
know
he is. Brent, he's ready to talk. Brent and Cersei. Brent, good morning. What's going on?
Good morning, Chuck and Bo.
Brent.
I just got one thing to say. I went through way too many heaters yesterday, and but
self-awareness.
That was the greatest Razor pitching performance, or one of the probably the greatest athletic achievement I've seen in college sports, and I've seen a lot of great things on the biggest stage. And my hat goes off to Gage Wood, Ryder Helfrich, and the entire Razorback team yesterday. And I don't know did you watch his parents in the stands?
Sure.
They were just they were just worth the price of admission just watching them in the stand. And I can always pick out his father because he's got on that old time Razorback batting helmet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You know, the hat.
Yep.
And I've been lucky enough to had my picture made. The Mouth's been lucky enough to have his picture made with the Ghouls last year before
Picture
the South
made.
Carolina game. Yeah. Now we got to get the Gould family on the coaches and the Mouth, Bo.
Well, it's
Yeah.
only a
Talk
matter
about
of time.
Only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I just wanted to tell you that was, even though it was 1-0, I never thought that we were not in control of that game. Even if we'd have won it 1-0, it just looked like Gage's fastball was didn't look like Murray State got any good swings on it all day. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah, they hit a ball to the warning track once, hit a couple deep foul balls, but they were never really.
Robinette had the toughest play, and it was not an easy play, but it's a rather routine play.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they put 7 balls in play the whole game.
Yeah.
7.
We could have won without our. How about Justin Thomas from the 9 spot going 4 for 4?
You know, that's pretty significant right there. And Arkansas's bottom third, I mean, there's some guys in that lineup right now that need to get it going. And quite honestly, until yesterday, he was one of them. So I think that was pretty significant yesterday.
Hey, Chuck, both y'all are based. Who pitches tonight for the Hogs?
Yeah, see, that's the question. I don't know. And that was one of the things I wanted to get into this morning is that, I mean, there are a lot of possibilities there. You know, do you bring Root back on short rest? Do you start Jimenez?
Well,
do you go with Beidelshees? I mean, lots of possibilities.
And here's another one.
Your season's on the line.
Here's another one. It rains all day, and everything gets pushed back. And then how does that change your decision making process?
If that happens, I got to believe Root throws.
Right.
I got to believe Root throws. You know, that'd be my thought.
I agree with you. And another question. I can't think about it.
Get your notes out.
Yeah,
get your notes out.
No, I go better off the top of my head. So, the pitcher for LSU, Ianson, he's done.
For
right?
this game.
Well, he's done for this game. Yeah, I would not think he would pitch today. I do think that it probably leaves him open to the possibility of coming back if there's a game on Thursday, maybe even Wednesday. Somebody needs to beat LSU because otherwise they're going to have Anderson and Ianson lined up 1-2, and boy, that's tough right there.
Hey, but let me say this: as great as Anderson pitched Saturday night, he didn't match Gage Wood's effort.
Well,
he didn't throw a no-hitter. No, he did not throw a no-hitter.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. LSU. Put that in your pipe.
We got a retro fireback at 6:32 on Tuesday. We can't take that one back, though.
No.
It's in the books. It's over. Now it's about what happens from here. The two best guys in mediocre sports radio.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, guys, you hear us talk about the Sweat 'N 'em Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show. You've got your summer lineup set, but what about your skincare? Sun, sweat, and all that time outside takes a toll. Hit up the spa at Sweat 'N 'em Cosmetic Surgery for a facial or sun damage repair. It's not just for the ladies, guys. Call 479-966-4174. Again, that's 479-966-4174 and get your skin in the game.
With rainy season here and summer just around the corner, make sure your gutters are ready. Hogcroft Gutters, locally owned with over 30 years of experience, does it all. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching, and French drain. Fully licensed and insured with a 20-year warranty on every job. Serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. And for a free inspection, visit hoggutters.com. That's hoggutters.com. You can tell I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
So happy for, everybody involved with the program, especially, more than anything, the players, because they're the ones that do all the work. So happy that, they're going to finish this season in Omaha.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
DVH, you heard him there. Well, this is on the field, talking to the team after the game, out there in the outfield.
We only needed one pitcher today because that was amazing, man. That was big time, especially here on this stage. That's something special. I'll never forget it, man. That was beautiful. So, hey, with that being said, tomorrow we're going to start scoring a bunch of runs, all right? And we'll just keep pitching like we have in the last 2 days. And the good thing is we don't play till tomorrow night, okay? You guys take it easy tonight, relax. Get ready to go. We're going to be here now, all right? Great job.
Just give Arkansas momentum.
Absolutely.
Give them a little
Absolutely.
juice.
There's not the carryover in baseball that there is in football and basketball. There's not. But there is some carryover. And, what he said there about offense scoring some runs, that would be nice, when they play again, if it's tonight, if the weather allows. It'd be nice to have that happen early on. But, you think about Wood's game and Gackle out of the bullpen against LSU, with the exception of, Wood and Gackle, I don't think anybody's off the table in terms of the next game, and that includes Root. I don't think it'll be Root, but, I don't know that he's necessarily ruled out. So, there's an advantage there, I hope, but you got to score some runs.
How do you celebrate a moment like this? Do you get a tattoo if you're Gage Wood, or do you go to Blakeman's and get a purple bag and get you a timepiece? I think a timepiece, if you ever needed an excuse to buy a nice timepiece,
this is it.
This is when you treat yourself.
I'm going to celebrate Gage Wood's no-hitter.
Is anybody? Well, I'm talking about Gage, but yeah, anybody else could as well.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking from Gage's perspective, like if I'm ever going to go treat myself, if not now, when? Right, Edward? Like what? You're over there with the. By the way, Bart's out. Bart came in.
He did. He soldiered.
He looked a different color of pale.
He really did. He was as white can be.
And he looked as if he had actually attempted Oakmont last night.
and he went to one of those simulator courses.
And it made him ill.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was able to shake it off. And he was in here and he was trying to rally. When I said puke and rally, because losing to LSU is so disgusting.
Yeah, he took it literally.
Yeah.
Well, he only got halfway there, though. He got through the first part.
The rallies.
We're still waiting on the rally.
Yeah. Oh, he'll bounce back. He'll be here tomorrow.
I know he will.
But listen, I was counting on Bart to carry the show today.
I know,
Research, stats,
too.
just throwing out like biggest moments in Razorback history. He's Johnny on the spot with that stuff.
I think Bart needs his own personal physician. I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, we need a trainer.
And we need a trainer.
Yeah.
We need a doctor on site.
Yeah, we got to get our organization.
And when Bart comes in and he doesn't feel well, like right now, for example, let's say we had a doctor on site. He's in the other room. They're pumping him full of insulin right now.
That's right.
I mean, he's, we
got an IV going.
He would explode back in here at 7 o'clock, ready to go.
Just fired up.
But without a physician on site, he's
left
home.
to his own.
Yeah, left to his own devices. He's went to bed.
Yeah.
So I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to leave now.
Well, if you want to celebrate Gage Wood's no-hitter, you can go to Blakeman's, and I'm sure they'll have something to mark the occasion. They got something for every occasion. Well, it's just part of the conversation. A purple bag, it'll do the trick every time. By the way, hope everyone had a great Father's Day. I think we should talk about Father's Day all week. If you didn't get something great for Father's Day, call the show. We'll well wish you. We'll celebrate you, Dad. And Blakeman's is always up for the celebration. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorback. It's more than jewelry, it's your story. We're all about stories here, and this is quite a journey. There's so many stories on this team, man. So many. The Alloy brothers, Cam Kozel being from Omaha, he's going to get it going at some point up there. You just believe that. But for an Arkansas kid to have that moment, and great job by ESPN, by the way, showing his parents and the theater and just being able to watch the moment unfold, other than mentioning every 2 seconds that he was in the middle of a perfect game. I thought they did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, that guy kind of he certainly made sure that everyone knew perfect game.
They put it on the screen.
Oh, I know.
Perfect game alert.
I know. Here's the thing. I'm not, I don't want this to be the last great moment for them at the College World Series. Now, look, this is a moment you're not going to top unless you dogpile at the end. That's the only way that you even equal this. And even that, from an individual standpoint, I'm not sure there's ever been a greater Razorback performance in any sport. But you don't want it to end now. You're talking about the stories, and, man, they're right. I mean, the Alloy brothers, everything that's happened this year, a no-hitter yesterday. And I wondered if this was why Dave, by comparison, sounded rather subdued when it was over yesterday. They're going to win tonight, or it is over. And we're not going to be talking about it anymore. And that's the finality of this situation that they're in right now. So when you talk about carrying over momentum, baseball, you carry it until your next, if the next pitcher that you face is great, you don't have any more momentum. So all that factors in too, but you got to keep winning.
What are moments that could sort of equal yesterday?
I don't know.
Maybe a walk-off grand slam? 2 outs, walk-off grand slam?
James McCann really did do that against LSU one night at Baum Stadium. Hit a 2-out grand slam in the bottom of the ninth to beat LSU. Barely fair down the left field line. That was a great moment. But it wasn't a no-hitter at the College World Series.
Let's just stack up some moments here. While you're there,
I'm not sure I can even come up with one.
But I felt what you're saying.
Maybe a time or two.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to go, okay, let's do this. And you can weigh in on the text line. What do you compare this moment to in Razorback sports history? An individual performance. And I think the fact that he's an Arkansas kid really adds to it.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if Scotty Thurman had been from Arkansas, not that it makes the moment any better, but just being for him.
Ruston's not far now. Ruston's not far.
Certainly, he's close enough, having grown up there to have that Razorback feeling, of always dreaming for playing for the Razorbacks and then getting to do it on the biggest stage and then hitting the biggest shot. And this is, Gage Wood from a kid in Batesville to go into the College World Series and throw in a no-hitter in an elimination game. In an elimination game.
Yes, with everything on the line. I think about McFadden's performance against, I guess it was South Carolina.
Yep, 321.
That was, he had the same kind of pride in Arkansas that Gage Wood does. And people certainly, people felt that. Made the night more special. But there was not a championship hanging in the balance. The season wasn't going to end that night, whether they won or they lost. I just don't know that you can find one.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back and take calls right after the break. By the way, did you see Jordan Wright? He had an NIL deal done before the evening ended.
Yeah,
with Gage Wood.
Well,
it's free brisket for life.
I mean, hey, that's a good deal.
He gets a picture out of him in the
I didn't see that, but
Gage.
That's smart.
Yeah, don't miss the opportunity. I wonder what else Gage has secured in the last 24 hours. We just let a hero's mind wander. We got to hit the break. Your call's coming up. Chris in Fayetteville. You're on the news, weather, information station.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, we're full service, baby.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, summer's heating up, and Splash Car Wash is keeping your ride looking fresh with a special deal just for listeners of the Chuck and Bo Show. Right now, buy one Best Wash and get 2 free. One for you, one for your spouse, one for a friend, or just keep them all. It's an easy way to stay clean, cool, and cruising all summer long. That's 3 top-tier washes for just $27. Text Splash Car Wash to 22322 to access this exclusive online-only offer.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
Hey, Hey, if you've been thinking about a new ride, now's the time to make it happen. That's because Chevy of Fayetteville is kicking off their summer drive deals with some of the best offers you'll get all year. Trailblazers starting at $23,000, Colorados from only $30,000, the new Equinox EVs from just $30,000. No matter what you're looking for, these deals are real and they won't last long. So don't wait. Head over to Chevy of Fayetteville today. Together, let's drive.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Are you looking for tough, reliable equipment from people you can trust? WT Equipment is your local family-owned dealership with 8 locations across Arkansas. And yep, they're big-time hog fans too. From Bobcat to New Holland, Hustler, Steel, and more. They carry the brands you know and trust to get the job done. Whether it's equipment or implements, WT Equipment has the tools you need, including a full lineup of Bobcat machines built for power and performance. Stop by your nearest WT Equipment today.
How was Saturday night for you after the game? What'd you do to celebrate?
The only remedy, I thought maybe get a few cold beers in there, maybe help it out a little bit.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I mean, look, we get up early. It's a 6 a.m. start here.
I wear the same thing every day.
You and I have like Jay Leno outfits.
I know,
we wear
that's
in
right.
Here. Yeah.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Jason is in Missouri. Let's go to Missouri. And we talked to Jason.
The Show Me State.
Yes, sir. Jason, good morning.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, Bo. What's going on in Arkansas?
Well, we're just enjoying Gage Wood. How about you?
No hitter.
Oh, you should. Very, very much so. I
I listened to that in the middle of a Walmart yesterday, and there was people who stopped and said, "Oh my God, they actually just won a game there." I said, "No, they won it with a no-hitter and just almost a perfect game." So I got to hear that in and out yesterday. Let me present you with a possibility, gentlemen. The fact that they've delayed that game today for what was like the third inning, right? I had to turn it off. I went to sleep early last night. Is it possible they're going to come in, either one of those teams are going to come in so exhausted tonight? They play Arkansas again tonight, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Is it possible Arkansas is going to get the worst version of both those teams in the next 2 days?
Potentially. I mean, that was possible. It was a break for Arkansas. I thought. A bad break for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I just I saw that last night and it hit me about 10 o'clock right before I went to sleep. I thought, man, they might have this one now. Just by luck alone, they might have this one. Because Missouri State did the same thing this year up here in a series where they ended up losing to Murray State in the same type of situation where a heavy rain comes through and it blew the chance up completely. And they ended up blowing the second game and losing ultimately in the tournament for Murray State to move on.
It could definitely play a factor. Thanks for the call, Jason. But here's the other part. We don't know if they're going to get any games in today. It's like a 75% chance of rain in Omaha all day, which doesn't mean that they won't get games in.
I've seen, and let's just
Well,
say let's say it doesn't rain. I've seen it happen both ways. It's happened with Arkansas both ways. Sometimes, you're exhausted when you get back to the ballpark. Sometimes, too, you're riding the wave. You know, you won a game in dramatic fashion earlier in the day. You can't wait to get back to the ballpark. So it's hard to say what kind of effect it's going to have. You just don't know.
Where does Clay Henry rank this moment in great Razorback individual performances? Is it at the top?
Well, I think I'm still hard-pressed to try to find one that was bigger and better.
You can text in your thoughts, 877-377-6963. We'll talk to Clay on the Chuck and Bo Show next.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call.
As a play-by-play announcer, my eyes are everything. I need to see every detail on the field to call the game the right way. So when cataracts started affecting my vision, I knew I couldn't wait. I went to Dr. Betts and the team at McDonald Eye Associates. And truthfully, I wish I'd done it years ago. The difference is incredible. The whole experience was professional, easy, and honestly life-changing. If your vision's holding you back, take it from me. Don't put it off any longer. Schedule your appointment with McDonald Eye Associates today.
Hey, it's Bo. And for me, business comes down to working with people I like and can count on. And that's Teamwork Roofing and Construction. They do what they say, they're on time, and when they're done, it's like they were never there and you have a brand new roof. Built with expert craftsmanship and the best materials. When it comes to commercial or residential roofing, get the customer care Teamwork Roofing and Construction offers. Check them out on their Facebook page, Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Built on quality, powered by teamwork.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't know what on time is for you, but yeah, you got here before the show started.
Whatever. Hey, have you ever seen anyone that takes so much pride in being the first one here?
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Well, the reality is, guys, in the sports world, fans, we all think we know. We know everything about sports. We have all the answers. Now, when you take your car down to get it fixed, you don't look at the guy and go, that's not how you do that. Are you an idiot? That's not how that works. You don't go to the doctor's office and say, I don't know. I don't really like. Some people are absolute know-it-alls. They want to tell the pilot how to fly the plane. But most of us know. We realize that's not our lane. But in sports, it's everybody's lane.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night, love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "What's heard on the Chuck and Bo Show?"
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
All right, we're reacting to the no-hitter. What a performance by Gage Wood and the Razorbacks. Not a moment, but an individual performance.
Yeah, you know, we were talking in the last hour about, you know, has there been a better Razorback individual performance in any sport? I'm not talking about Thurman. I'm not talking about moments like Thurman's shot or even Toops' home run. I'm talking about, you know, the entire game, individual performance. The only thing that I can even think of that comes close would be McFadden against South Carolina. I mean, from start to finish in the entire ball game.
Let's listen to a quick recap of 21 consecutive batters retired, 19 strikeouts, and a no-hitter.
One out away from something that's much bigger than a win in Omaha. The 1-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging. Gage Wood no-hits him, and the Hogs win it 3-0.
I really just wanted to go out there and give my team a chance to win a ball game and keep playing. You know, I didn't want to go home, and thankfully I get to put that Arkansas jersey on again tomorrow.
The greatest game ever pitched at the University of Arkansas.
This will be celebrated a long time from now.
I'll be the first one to say it. There was nothing being said or talked about in our dugout whatsoever. We were just going to let him roll, and no, there was no chance he was coming out after 8.
Coach Hobbs came and talked to me in the 8th, and all he said was, I need you to be honest with me. How do you feel? And I told him that I was not coming out of that ball game.
I said one thing to him in the 8th inning going into the 9th. I just asked how he was feeling, and I told him to calm down.
Where's the ball right now?
I gave it to my dad, said happy late Father's Day.
They're coming out to mob Gage Wood, who pitched the game of his life.
As an Arkansas kid, you're on the biggest stage, you've got the state on your back, and you go out there and you have that type of historical performance. I mean, do you have anything to say to Hog Nation back home?
We're not done yet.
Wow. All the right things from the heart said by Gage Wood in a legendary performance. Clay Henry, who's been covering Hog sports for let's just say it's a long time. Hall of Famer, featured columnist for WholeHogSports.com, and a great friend of both Chuck and I and the shows we've done over the years. Clay, that we watched history. You were there for it, and we're anxious to hear your reaction.
Well, I think it was the greatest of all time. That's what I wrote. I don't care what you want to find. Best of all time in college baseball by anybody. You know, I'll go back to 1960. You know, I would have been 6. That's the last time there was a no-hitter there. 19 strikeouts. Those guys that did the no-hitters, they didn't throw 19 strikeouts. I don't know what point in the tournament were they pitching an elimination game or what. Murray State's one of the hottest teams in the country. I mean, they've been scoring runs in bunches, lots of crooked numbers. You know, I sit there and just kind of, last night after I was getting ready to go to bed, is like, what is this? And, you know, like Mike Conley had some track meets where he was winning every, 100, 200, long jumps, triple jump, 400 relay. It was just piling up. That's, elite performance on the stage, when you have to have it. So that would be comparable to me. We tend to forget about track, but Conley was the greatest as far as Arkansas track guys, and they won championships, and he was part of that incredible run John McDonnell had. Okay, that maybe y'all won't go with me on that because it's track versus baseball.
I think it's comparable. I think it's comparable.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up.
But I would defer to someone else. I mean, if they got something that's I'm not.
It's been interesting. People bring up moments, and man, we've had a bunch of great moments.
No, it's not a moment.
But
this is 3 hours.
right, yeah. This is 3 hours, 27 outs, 19 strikeouts. This is not even a shot to win the national title. I say that respectfully. That was a moment. Toops' home run was a moment. He didn't go 5 for 5 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. I mean, he had a great, he provided us a great moment. But I think you're probably right. I mean, you'd have to go to somebody like Conley or someone in the track program to find an individual day like that.
So here's the deal. It's 92, 93, about 3 o'clock. He's throwing 119 pitches. He hadn't done that. He's had 1 long outing. He's coming back from shoulder problems. He was incredible. It was just pitch after pitch. Dave Van Horn is really good at trying to put it in perspective of why he was so effective. And it's one thing now let's go back to the Tennessee weekend. He was throwing his fastball pretty good. They were tagging it. And the reason Murray couldn't do that is that he had 2 more pitches, and he was landing them for strikes. So just about the time you think, I'm going to go up there and get geared up for that high fastball, and I'm going to time it, I'm going to jump it. And they can do that. They've faced heat like that before, and they've tore him up. Fastball hitting team. But he was throwing that curveball, and it had late, sharp break down, and that was just that. They were discombobulated, and they didn't know what to do. Well, that would have been the same as anybody else. Nobody would have. He was in a rare moment, and unless the only person that tried to get in that moment was Clay Goodwin's son, the Bat Boy. He's like, "Hey, you going out for the no-no?"
Yeah, I talked about that after the game. I thought that was funny.
You could take it. Yeah. You could take it from him. Like that's the perfect.
Well, he knew anyway. It's not like he's sitting over there going, "You know what? I hadn't given up yet today."
Yeah, it's different coming from Gage,
right?
Little Gage, 10-year-old Gage, than it would be.
He
from
didn't break the code. He didn't break the code.
It's almost cute,
Yeah. They do call him baby, G baby.
Clay, I'm just I don't know, maybe I'm romanticizing the idea of this being an Arkansas kid and it being a legendary moment and the story of, that it is. Like the performance is awesome and it's why we're talking about it. But when I saw the way he reacted and he ripped that Arkansas across his chest right away, and then he went over to see his buddy, that he's grown up and played with from Batesville. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more out of a heroic performance, the way he responded to the moment. And then went to immediately after he ripped the Arkansas across his chest, he turns to his teammates and basically is saying, let's keep it rolling. Let's go. We got to keep winning. To me, that just adds to it all.
Yeah, I believe, you could tell that he was yelling. And late last night I saw the replay. I left Omaha and went to Kansas City. It was in my brother's house, and we had the replay on because the LSU game rained out. So they just went back to show that game, which is perfect. And he's yelling, Arkansas! That's what he was yelling over and over. And I just think he was so proud, so happy, and he wanted his teammates to know that he did it for them so that they could keep playing, so he could keep playing. I was at practice the day before, and there were some people that wrote they were loose in practice. I didn't really think so. I thought Dave was loose. I thought Wernis was loose. I'm not sure the players were. There wasn't much said. There wasn't any rah-rah. There wasn't any, hey, we got this. It was just going through the motions. And I walked with Dave Van Horn off the field, and I said, well, coaches, y'all seem a little down. And he just turned to me, and he goes, we got strike throwers yet left, a bunch of strike throwers. We got, basically we got one tomorrow. And we're going to be just fine. And he might know. I mean, he knew he had a good one going. Momentum is only as good as your next pitcher. I mean, and boy, he gave him some momentum. I talked to Scott Tabor last night, my insurance guy in Mountain Home, has about half the records in the pitching list in the media guide, and he says he put confidence and momentum right in their shorts.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. All right, let's spin it forward real quick, Clay. Like, where do they go next? Yeah. And what do you think happens from here with this team who, I mean, look, they lost the game to LSU. They faced an incredible pitching performance. We know how good Arkansas is, but you're still in a hole. So, do you think this kind of moves them forward with some momentum? And does the weather delay last night help out Arkansas a little bit with LSU and UCLA?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it just messes up their timing. It changes their rhythm. And we don't know if they're going to play for a while. I mean, in other words, their game's close. Ideally, it'll be a back-and-forth game. They'll use up a lot of energy. They'll use up a lot of pitching. They let them play 15 or 16 innings. If that happens, I think they sit pretty good. That they had a half a night's rest or whatever you want to call it, more than what these guys have had. But LSU, they're really good. Starter one, starter two, then maybe a guy in the bullpen. Shores is pretty good. So he throws 100, but, man, they don't want him to throw more than about 10 pitches because you can figure him out, or at least teams have figured him out after about 3 batters. LSU didn't do real well after their first 2 pitchers went out against Little Rock Trojans in their last regional. And they lost a lot of Sunday games, which speaks to what happens after they go through their next 2. I think UCLA might be the more balanced team. The top of that first 4, they're batting out order. They're all high draft picks. They may not go this year. They're not all draft eligible, but those guys are studs. They're not a surprise to be here. But I think Arkansas is poised for a run. And I think, that they were down. Now they're up and away. So, and I think they're going to get something out of Root before it's over. I mean, it could be tonight. He says he's ready to go. Might prefer to give him one more day's rest, see what you can do. All those guys are going to have to pitch. You just have to decide what order they're going to pitch.
Yep.
And it doesn't really matter, to be honest. But let's face it, they got to hit a little better. They left a lot of runners out there, so that they need to help those pitchers. I mean, Gackle and Root have shown that they can get really good hitters out like they have all year. Now these hitters need to show that they can get on a run. And they're going to get into what I call the soft spot of these teams' pitching staffs right away.
Yep. Good stuff. Good look at it. Thanks for covering it from Omaha. We'll catch up later, I'm sure, this week.
Thank you, Clay.
Okay, y'all have fun. It's a pretty sweet time, boys.
Boy,
pretty
it is.
Sweet.
It sure is, Clay. I'm glad you got to be there for it. Clay Henry, a longtime publisher of Hogs Illustrated, founder of Hogs Illustrated. Featured columns can be found at wholehogsports.com right now.
Well,
Hall of Famer.
Everybody's talking about it. That's the thing. Wherever you go, across Arkansas, it's what everybody's talking about.
I'm getting word here, Chuck, that we may have Matt Hobbs or Ryder Helfrich a little bit later in the show.
All right.
So
that sounds great.
We'll just add to the
That's
conversation.
Right. It is the talk of the town. They're talking about it at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. They're talking about it everywhere, basically. And they should be. They're excited about the Razorbacks. That's why it's really what attracted me to Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company years ago, was community people that are interested in a lot of the same things we're all interested in. And they're also interested in helping you find the home that you're looking for, or if you've got to make a move, making it as seamless as possible. These are true real estate professionals, people that are the best trained in the business. Nobody trains their agents like a Weichert agent. There's no better trained agent in the business. They're going to help you with things that you don't even know you need help with. And if you've been through it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington, and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith, Branson. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978. You can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
All right, we got people that want to talk. We'll do it next. It's 7:17 on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. Kids, there's never a good deal good enough with a bad person. Still a bad deal.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
With rainy season here and summer just around the corner, make sure your gutters are ready. Hogcroft Gutters, locally owned with over 30 years of experience, does it all. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching and French drain. Fully licensed and insured with a 20-year warranty on every job. Serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. And for a free inspection, visit hoggutters.com. That's hoggutters.com.
There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
All right, guys, you hear us talk about the Sweating 'em Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show. You've got your summer lineup set, but what about your skincare? Sun, sweat, and all that time outside takes a toll. Hit up the spa at Sweating 'em Cosmetic Surgery for a facial or sun damage repair. It's not just for the ladies, guys. Call 479-966-4174. Again, that's 479-966-4174 and get your skin in the game.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Safe Sports Radio.
That's special.
on my bucket list is to be around a campfire with Chuck when he's got a couple in him, and I want to hear the stories.
I know anything I would say would be fodder for this show,
Absolutely.
and I would be made fun of.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
The flight by Yingling was flowing at walk-ons yesterday. I'm sure
I'll bet it
Foghorns
was
as well. But it tastes like a Yingling. But it's a light beer, 95 calories. The next generation of light beer. You get the 16-ounce resealable bottle. Take it with you. It's great for tailgating, great for the lake. Skinny cans now available. Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. If you want to raise your light beer game, enjoy the taste of a Yingling without the extra calories. Flight by Yingling. All right, Peyton's in Little Rock. Peyton, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, guys. I'm probably one of your younger listeners. I'm heading to Fayetteville this fall, and I just want to say you guys get me through the first 2 hours of work with the show, and I just wanted to talk about the impact of Gage Wood's no-hitter. I felt like, looking on Twitter, the morale in terms of the fans was down, not only with the players but with the fans, and I feel like it's at an all-time high. I mean, I can't scroll on any platform without seeing it.
That's the swing of emotions in sports, and it plays out on social media, and it can be really low and it can be really high, and when it's really high and you start getting that energy, it's fun and it's exciting, and I think that's what we got going right now. Chuck, you couldn't probably feel any better coming out of an elimination game after losing to LSU than you do after Gage Wood. You'd love for the team to be maybe lighting it up at the plate, but you also kind of feel like that's coming.
Well, it needs to. And
thanks for the call, Peyton.
Yeah, thank you. It's baseball's such a funny game. I mean, it's we've seen it before. What you do in the previous game, what you're doing now. I mean, sometimes they're polar opposites. Whenever they play, if it's tonight, the weather makes it tomorrow, whenever it is, you got to win. You got to keep winning. And, the only thing that's going to top this is, dogpiling when it's over. But you've got to keep winning. They've got to win 4 straight games ultimately to get to that championship round. They've won 1. Now they got to win tonight.
Gentle Ben's been on hold for a while. I know he likes to listen on hold. So, Gentle Ben, do you have thoughts collected, or have I just left you in the bullpen too long?
No, sir. As long as you give me 30 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm good. I think this was the best thing, like y'all said, the best deal for one person. I just don't believe there's any performance that's ever been singularly accomplished as much as he did yesterday. And the only thing was, as far as moments, I always have to think back to the 64 national championship in football, because we'd never been, number one in anything except the 1957 integration debacle. That's about the only thing we were number one in the past, and that just meant a lot in 64 because nobody ever said anything good about Arkansas back then except, the Hogs. And so, but anyway, yeah, this was great yesterday, and when you think about what the emotion is going to be up, down, and all like that, you're right, too, that it's going to be, it could be really great now and really bad by tomorrow or whatever, because when you think about football coming,
that's how it works.
You think about football coming, and most people are predicting we might win 5 games, but not sure if we'll win 6. That's not something to look forward to because of the record and other excuses or reasons or whatever. But anyway, I think it's just a great time. It's good to enjoy it, and then where we get to play today, tomorrow, whenever. Like you said, we got to keep winning. And I know my time's probably already about up, but I'll just say this: I've said this many times on y'all's shows in the past. When you, as a fan, in all 50 states, when your team that you love and root for wins a national championship or comes close to it, or just your program, the Hogs, in anything, when you have been a fan of your team being number 1 national champs, nobody better than you, you're not satisfied with anything else no matter what. Getting number 3 after we beat Oklahoma 31-6 and knocked them out of a national championship. Nothing. You're not satisfied with anything but bringing home, the trophy. And I think it's time for us to, win it all down at City Hall. And I don't care if it's because of umpires' wrong calls or because everybody on the other team got sick. I don't care why we win. Let's just bring home the trophy.
I feel you, Ben.
There you go, Ben.
I do.
Thank you.
Yesterday to me, though, is an example of not everything is the national championship. That's why you're there. That's what you're playing for. That's the goal every year for every team that suits it up. But there's so many more moments along the way. What happened yesterday is so unusual to just state the obvious. But I think you got to enjoy it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, let's just say you went
Does
up there.
it ruin it if they lose tonight?
Yeah.
I know for some people it will.
But it doesn't take that
No,
moment away.
no,
is
no,
my point.
no, it does
You
not.
got to celebrate every moment along the way, and it can't just be about the end every time.
We watched some history yesterday. There have only been 3 of them in the history of this whole tournament, and hadn't been one in 65 years. Don't let it ever be lost on you that they play with metal bats. He no-hit a team playing with metal bats. I mean, don't ever lose sight of that. We take that for granted. We don't ever talk about it anymore. They're playing with metal bats, and he threw a no-hitter. That's not to be taken lightly. It's
crazy. It may never happen again.
Well, I mean, it hadn't happened since 1960. And they're playing with metal bats.
It may never happen. I'm just telling you. Hey, you want to go to Omaha while Arkansas is winning? Maybe you can make it today. You hop on a jet from Jet Aircraft. You get there and back in the same day. Get some friends together. Split the cost. Up to 9 people with luggage. Got catering on board, a full bar. You pull up to the plane, a Jet Aircraft. They valet your car. They detail it while you're gone. And you have the experience and memories of a lifetime like Gage Wood did yesterday and everybody that was there to see it. And if you're not in Northwest Arkansas, they can pick you up wherever you are and get you there. Round up the buddies, figure out what your trip's going to be, and call Jet Aircraft. Just log on to jetnwa.com. Ask about the Jet Card memberships for even more perks, too. Wherever you're headed, Jet Aircraft can take you there and do it in style. JetNWA.com. That's Jet with 2 T's. JetNWA.com. Price Holmes, former Razorback and former strength coach at Batesville High School, who has a unique inside look to the story of Gage Wood and how he got here in this legendary performance yesterday, will join us next. You guys are part of my family. Everyone that listens to this show is just part of the Chuck and Bo family. We're building a community here.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
Hey, if you've been thinking about a new ride, now's the time to make it happen. That's because Chevy of Fayetteville is kicking off their summer drive deals with some of the best offers you'll get all year. Trailblazers starting at $23,000, Colorados from only $30,000, the new Equinox EVs from just $30,000. No matter what you're looking for, these deals are real and they won't last long. So don't wait. Head over to Chevy of Fayetteville today. Together, let's drive.
When is the last time you thought, oh, the SEC's making an announcement today, and it's going to be good for the Hogs?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
can't thank them enough, and even my high school coaches that are here right now, and my high school strength coach. I wouldn't be where I am today without Price Holmes.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, that caught my attention. I've known Price a while, and I heard Gage say that yesterday. Well, we got to call Price. Price was he was in Omaha yesterday, back home today. I got to ask you, I'm going to guess you got summer workouts coming up here in just a little while this morning.
Yes, sir. I'm about to pull in the parking lot here in a second. So I think we rolled in about 3:30 or 4, and then my 4-year-old was jumping on my bed this morning with a lightsaber at about 6:05.
Oh my God!
Yeah, now I got a full day of football ahead, so that's just part of it.
Nothing says Father's Day, post Father's Day like
wow.
that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What's Batesville like today? What's it like right now?
It's just a buzz. It was just after that game, I think I not even playing had 300 something texts of people. They were just so proud of what Gage got to accomplish, and it was incredible. I think the next few days, the couple of coaches that I went up there with, we were like, man, this will change everything for Gage. Like he's already kind of a celebrity here, but he won't ever come back here and not have kids want his autograph, for the rest of his life. And so it's just a pretty cool event.
Watching it all unfold and seeing his reaction afterwards. The performance is perhaps the greatest pitching performance in the modern era of college baseball. Aluminum bats came in 1974. This is the only no-hitter at the College World Series since we've had metal bats. But his first reaction was all about Arkansas. It was all about Batesville, his teammate, his friend, and then his teammates. Immediately his teammates in the celebration of Let's Keep It Rolling. I mean, what kind of person, for those of us that don't know Gage like you have, Price, you've trained him, you're his strength coach, you spent the hours that nobody else is around for. Who is Gage Wood?
Man, at the end of the day, he's kind of a good old country boy, likes to hunt and fish, but as a player and competitor, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that is as intense, focused, committed, deliberate. He's got tenacity, great teammate. I mean, he kind of embodies things that I've said things about him before that to other people that I can probably coach another 30 years and there won't be I'd be lucky to have a kid even close to what Gage was, not only with his ability, but just what kind of kid he was. He do whatever a coach asked. If you told him, hey, you need to run across some glass shards to get faster, well, he'll go out and break bottles and run across glass shards. Or he's just kind of almost like robotic, not in personality, but just in asking him. You ask him to do something and he's going to do it. Kind of almost no questions asked. So
no, you could see it play out that way.
Hey, I got to ask you too. I know you were in the stadium. You didn't hear it, but to have someone say your name, call you by name, thank you for what you've done for him. I just wonder, as a coach, I mean, is that the ultimate validation right there?
Yeah, it was kind of, I don't get overly emotional with things, but when somebody had sent me that, obviously I didn't see it, but when somebody sent me that and watched it, I couldn't believe he said it, and ultimately, I don't feel like I deserve any credit for what he's done. He's the one that's done the work. He's the one that's got up in the mornings. He's the one that has committed himself to this path. I just tried to provide guidance, but seeing that, it does give you a little validation of like, man, we get into coaching to try to impact kids and positively influence kids wherever you're at, whether that's Batesville or Fayetteville, whatever area you're in, and hearing the kids say that and that you did have an impact like that, it was pretty special.
You've lived what he's living now. You didn't throw a no-hitter at the College World Series, but you're from a small Arkansas town. You put on that Razorback uniform. Now you've gone back home and you're working with kids who are trying to live out that dream. Did you think he could be in that spot as you were working with him? And is that something you look for in kids?
Those kids don't come around a lot. I did think he was maybe a little overlooked, and into his junior year of high school, kind of transitioning to that senior year. I felt like I obviously was super biased. I wanted him to be a Hog, but I knew how hard that was, and you guys know this, but you can drive through a Batesville or a Fordyce or anywhere in the state, and you're going to see a Razorback mailbox, and somebody's going to have a Razorback flag and Razorback license plate. Whether they have any association with, attending or ever living up there, it's a state of Hog fans. And, a kid like that, he grew up just like my son. He's in kindergarten with or pre-K with a Razorback shirt on. Well, that just kind of gets ingrained in you, and to have that ability, and it just means something different for those that know when you're from a place like this or you're from this state and you're able to wear that Hog. It just means something a little different,
We obviously focus on Gage Wood. Connor Cunningham from Murray State played in the game yesterday too. You worked with him. I saw some of the pictures. You're wearing Hog shirts one minute and supporting him with a Murray State shirt the next. What was that like as just a small town strength coach? What was it like to watch that unfold yesterday?
It was, we were sitting. We had really good seats right behind home plate, out in the sun. I don't know. It was in the mid 90s. It was pretty hot, but when that moment unfolded of just seeing Connor take BP and then Connor take the field, and then the moment where they matched up the first time, and I don't know if ESPN picked it up, but Gage kind of gave him a head nod and smiled, and Connor kind of gave him one back, and then it was, they were facing each other, but got chill. I got chill bumps right now talking about it. We all did. All the guys that I was with, we're out there kind of sweating our butts off a little bit in the stands, but we got chill bumps, and it's just incredible. The odds of that happening are astronomical, not only to have two kids that play Division I baseball, but they play each other. They're starting. It's in the College World Series. It was just absolutely incredible.
The performance, a no-hitter, elimination game. We've been talking this morning. There may not be a more complete performance, a legendary performance like that in Razorback sports history. Mike Conley was brought up in some of his feats in track by Clay Henry a little bit earlier. But Price, this is an Arkansas kid. To do all that on that stage, and for what you just talked about being an Arkansas kid, can you put into words, having been a walk-on and playing three different positions for three different coaches at the University of Arkansas in football, how special that is?
Yeah, I was just blessed even to have a spot on the team, but, I remember that first time running out through the A of just what that meant for me, and watching a kid, I got to watch Gage this year, perform and have one of the most legendary sports performances ever, and got to watch Izzy Higginbottom, set the single season point total record. And for those kids, I just know them and know it's different than them doing that at a TCU, or it's different than them doing that exact same feat at Louisiana Tech or wherever that is, doing it at Arkansas, where they have wanted to go to school and they wanted to be Hogs their entire lives, and to have a moment like that, for Izzy or a Gage, it's just, it just means something. It means something more to them, and I know that.
Oh, you can feel it, man. Price, this is what a full circle moment for you. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Now he's got to go in there talking to you.
Now he's got to go in there and coach him up.
Yeah, somebody's going to get some motivation out of Price Holmes today. And they're not like they don't already, but they're going to be a little extra juice in that building.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, man, congrats.
Thank you, Bryce.
I know everybody's sharing in this. Congrats to all of y'all.
Yeah, man, it's just a cool moment for, our town. And it's a cool moment for the state. I mean, I know that in-state people watch that game and say it means something more to a fan watching that and saying that's one of our kids. That's an Arkansas boy up there on the mound. Multiple 3 million people watching this game, and he's one of ours doing that. And that is just kind of gives me goosebumps talking about it. I mean, it just means something, you know.
No doubt. Thanks so much for the time on short rest. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Price.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Price Holmes, Batesville. He's a offensive coordinator.
That's
now,
real
strength
life
coach.
right there. I mean, forget the glamour. Drive home, get home at 3:30 or 4 in the morning. Kid wakes you up at 6, and you got practice at 8. I mean, that's real life right there.
And he didn't sound like he's lost any
he's
energy.
on cloud 9 today
in the process. And you know who else has got to be smiling today is Charlie Boyce.
Yep.
And all the folks over there at Pascal,
They are.
bunch of former Razorbacks. And when we talked about partnering with them on the show, and you've heard Charlie on here before, I mean, this whole vibe is what you get from them. Over 50 years, homeowners have trusted them for world-class service because they do things differently. From premium service to expert installation, every detail matters. Right now, you can get a brand-new high-efficiency AC and furnace system starting at just $79.99 with payments as low as $100 a month. No shortcuts, no surprises, just Pascal quality at a price more families can afford. It's getting hot. You need that AC this summer. You saw the fan on Gage Wood yesterday, man, mid-90s. That's coming to Fayetteville in short order. Click over to gopascal.com. Schedule an appointment today. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Restrictions apply. With approved credit, you can see dealer for details. All right, 7:47. We got to hit a break. Back in a minute. Good morning.
Hold on, guys. I'm on the Chuck and Bo Show. Hold on.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Are you looking for tough, reliable equipment from people you can trust? WT Equipment is your local family-owned dealership with 8 locations across Arkansas. And yep, they're big-time hog fans too. From Bobcat to New Holland, Hustler, Steel, and more. They carry the brands you know and trust to get the job done. Whether it's equipment or implements, WT Equipment has the tools you need, including a full lineup of Bobcat machines built for power and performance. Stop by your nearest WT Equipment today.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, it's Bo. And for me, business comes down to working with people I like and can count on. And that's Teamwork Roofing and Construction. They do what they say, they're on time, and when they're done, it's like they were never there and you have a brand new roof. Built with expert craftsmanship and the best materials. When it comes to commercial or residential roofing, get the customer care Teamwork Roofing and Construction offers. Check them out on their Facebook page, Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Built on quality, powered by teamwork.
Yeah, does Chuck sleep that much? Because it just sometimes...
He's old, so when you get old, you don't really sleep as much.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That used to be my opening line whenever I emceed anything. Chuck Barrett was unavailable, and last second, here I am. I'm always available. And so here we are today. Let's have a big time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Fathers and sons listen to the Chuck and Bo Show.
Together.
That's it's a family tradition. We believe that to be true of Gavin, who has called in 11 years old. From
Van Buren.
Hey, Gavin.
Hi.
What's up, Gavin?
The sky.
Nice.
Sky's definitely up. Coach Gage Wood, no hitter. That's definitely up as well.
I can't understand.
No,
you
we
very
can't
well.
understand a word you're saying, Gavin.
Okay.
Chuck letter.
Okay. Gage Wood's no hitter was amazing to watch yesterday.
Yep.
I loved it. Like, it was beautiful, the whole thing. I didn't see all the innings because, scheduling of the NCAA is just annoying sometimes. But, it was nice to watch. And if that doesn't give you momentum as a team, what will? Like, you got to take the opportunity of such an amazing game and, keep the momentum going so you can eventually win.
Yeah. I think that is exciting for everyone. When you have that kind of moment, how do you not get life out of that? Everything's game to game. But in a tournament setting, in an elimination game like this, thanks for the call, Gavin. That's a big shot in the arm.
It's different when you do it now as opposed to in the regular season or even in a conference tournament. And I want to talk about this some in the next hour. It's hard to really fully enjoy it and appreciate it because there's another game coming tonight that you must win or the season's over.
Yeah.
And we don't want it to end.
Yeah.
And they don't want it to end. So it's it's just an unusual situation in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal is to go there and win the College World Series, but boy, you can't overlook the moment that just happened either.
Hey, want to fly like a VIP? With Jet Aircraft, you skip the TSA lines, skip baggage claim, and fly on your schedule. The plane doesn't leave until you get there. You enjoy a full bar and food service for up to 9 passengers and plenty of room for luggage. Wherever you need to fly to or from, whether it's a special trip to the College World Series or golfing with buddies, round up your crew, split the cost, and fly private. Also, ask about the Jet card. Visit JetNWA.com. That's Jet with 2 T's.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. And every Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. 15% off every bottle of wine in the store, even if it's already on sale. But when it comes to selection, amazing prices, and unbeatable customer service, Macadoodles and Guess Who in Bentonville is second to none. Wine, beer, and spirits. Stock up for your next party or just stop by and grab your favorite. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life, too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
Why don't you just kind of style it up a little bit at the game? Let's get your drip going.
Hey, I got a lot more drip than you think.
The Chuck and Bo Show. Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Does this affect the way you think about your mortality when we do the birthdays?
Are you looking at me? Yeah.
It affects me. It makes me think about it.
I don't care how many games you played, how great you were as an athlete. There comes a point where you're just an old man.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of them are right now. And I look at them, and that's when I think, man, you're next. You get to a point where you just know that my generation's next.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "Let's turn on the Chuck and Bo show."
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
One out away from something that's much bigger than a win in Omaha. The 1-2 pitch. He struck him out swinging. Gage Wood no hits him, and the Hawks win it 3-0.
I really just wanted to go out there and give my team a chance to win a ball game and keep playing. You know, I didn't want to go home, and thankfully I get to put that Arkansas jersey on again tomorrow.
The greatest game ever pitched at the University of Arkansas.
This will be celebrated a long time from now.
I'll be the first one to say it. There was nothing being said or talked about in our dugout whatsoever. We were just going to let him roll and know there was no chance he was coming out after 8.
Coach Hobbs came and talked to me in the 8th, and all he said was, "I need you to be honest with me. How do you feel?" And I told him that I was not coming out of that ball game.
I said one thing to him in the 8th inning going into the 9th. I just asked how he was feeling, and I told him to calm down.
Where's the ball right now? I gave it to my dad. Said happy late Father's Day.
They're coming out to mob Gage Wood, who pitched the game of his life.
As an Arkansas kid, you're on the biggest stage. You've got the state on your back, and you go out there and you have that type of historical performance. I mean, do you have anything to say to Hog Nation back home?
We're not done yet.
And that's the key. They're not done yet. Huge performance, can't be overlooked. They're there to win the whole thing, though, Chuck.
They are.
Wow, you can't ignore this moment.
No, yeah, and you know it's been interesting to hear the reactions from people today. I mean, right up just to the last call before we went to the break there, when people talk about this game, they're speaking in terms of momentum. How does this affect us moving forward? Because we're fans of the Razorbacks. Phil said something right there on his call, and I know we're getting ready to bring him in. Much bigger than a game at the College World Series. We are fans of the Razorbacks, and so we want the Razorbacks to win the tournament. We want this no-hitter to be part of the National Championship Series. This is a long way of saying I don't think, and time will allow us this. We witnessed not just the greatest pitching performance by a Razorback yesterday. We watched the greatest pitching performance in the history of the College World Series. It's been around almost 80 years. Those other two no-hitters, and you said it a minute ago, they didn't come against aluminum bats. Aluminum bats weren't part of this until 1974. They were doing this against wood bats. There's a difference. You cannot overlook that. But my point in all of this is that I hope time allows us, as we move forward, to really appreciate what Gage Wood did. Right now, we still are caught up in, is Arkansas going to win the national championship? We can't separate the team and the individual yet, but I hope that time comes.
Yeah, it's well said. Phil Elson got to call it on the Razorback Sports Network. He's in Omaha, and he's joining us this morning. Phil, good morning. It must have been electric. It sure felt that way watching it on television. Phil, you there? I think he dropped off. He might be on the other line.
Yeah, he might be on the other line.
How about this? Was this you, Phil?
Brought him back.
This is Kevin at Lake Hamilton.
Yeah, okay.
Well, okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Phil. You can check line 2. We'll get back to him. You know, when you watch it in like live action, it is like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? It becomes its own event. But it's so weird because it's nestled in the middle of this tournament and this incredible like do or die situation.
Right.
And you got to go back. But it wasn't lost on me that immediately that's where Gage Wood's mind
That's
went
exactly
after the
right.
last out.
No, and that's one of the things about having a game like this in an elimination game is that it's only natural to think. I mean, we're still playing. I don't think Dave knew what to say when it was over. The only one that I really thought, honestly, came close to even capturing the moment was Hobbs.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to anybody else. I just don't think they knew what to say.
No.
Because they're wanting to win the whole thing still.
Here's Hobbs.
I think it's just a really great accomplishment for the kid, right? Him and Ryder Helfrich, our catcher, went and did that together. You know, we don't call pitches. We don't do anything, get in their way in the game. Those two guys did that together. Gage Wood deserves all the credit. He's had a bumpy season with some injuries and came back and did that on the biggest stage in college baseball in an elimination game. It says a lot about the kid.
Phil, what was it like to call it?
It was surreal, Bo. I mean, I think that's the best way to describe it. These are rare achievements at any level of baseball. And for it to happen at that stadium, in that situation, in this city, with everybody watching and everything that was on the line, and against that team, too. That's a team that can hit. They were hitting 328 in the tournament. That's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's the greatest thing I've ever been a part of. So, yeah, it still feels surreal, but you end up getting, I think, in a baseball tournament like this, different from a regular season where you can kind of bask in that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a sense of immediacy for everybody because nobody wants this to end. So, you hope this. It's weird. You'd hope that a pitching performance like this spurs the bats on a little bit because they're going to need that.
I got to ask you, as a broadcaster, when did you first say no-hitter?
I didn't say no-hitter until he threw his last pitch.
Really?
That's my only rule, Chuck. Now,
I'm just curious. How did you refer to it? I mean, you got to acknowledge it. How did you refer to it?
They don't have any base runners. The only base runners come on a hit batter. There's ways you can say it.
Did you ever say, yeah?
It said 21 batters retired in a row.
Yeah. I was just curious. I was just curious.
Well, I try to search for logical reasons for why I say things, and you're not really ever working on a no-hitter. A no-hitter is a no-hitter when it's a no-hitter. Same with a perfect game. So there's no reason to refer to that until you actually have that achievement. You can say they don't have any hits, which I think I might have said. Yeah. The Racers don't have any hits.
Right. Or you use the term hitless.
What was really funny? What was funny was we've got a monitor in the booth, and I can see that ESPN is showing Gage in the dugout, and everybody's leaving him alone. And they put the words "perfect game alert" up there, and I'm thinking, oh goodness.
I know.
But then, so I mentioned that on the air, and I say to Bubba, everybody's leaving Gage alone, and I'm waiting for him to say something. Bubba went into total player mode. He didn't even want to refer to anything about it because he's been in that situation where he's got a guy on his team who's thrown a no-hitter. What does he do when he was playing? He left that dude alone. He didn't even look at him. So he reverted into player mode, which we laughed about during a couple of the inning breaks, but I didn't want to mess with him about that. You know how I am. There's nothing I can say that affects what's happening on the field, but I've called a no-hitter in a long time. The last Hog no-hitter was a weird one because it was at Hoover in 2017, the same game that Chad Spanberger hit 3 home runs in the SEC tournament, and they run-ruled Auburn, and it was a 7-inning combined run-rule no-hitter. It was weird. And I haven't called a perfect game by one or a complete game no-hitter by one of my pitchers since Ryan Brazier did it with the Travelers in 2007. So it's just, you take those moments when they come, and they don't really come very often at all. So I felt really lucky.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, just maybe the most dominant pitching performance, not just in the College World Series, but all things considered in the modern era of college baseball. It really cannot be overstated. What an incredible performance it was from Gage Wood, who, by the way, last time out against Creighton, 6 innings, 13 strikeouts. And he just upped that to a complete game with 19 strikeouts and 119 pitches. Phil, you mentioned the bats. Everybody's mentioning the bats. If you want to zoom out and we want to talk about where Arkansas is in the College World Series, which, by the way, UCLA and LSU scheduled to resume at 10 a.m., so less than 2 hours if the weather allows. But I want to talk about Arkansas's lineup right now from your perspective. I mean, you've called the games all year. What are you seeing with Arkansas at the plate?
I think I'm seeing some pressure affecting some hitters where it might not have earlier this year. And you always have to respect the opponent. And I really thought that the LSU game was much more about Cade Anderson than it was about anything wrong with Arkansas batters or something wrong with the lineup or the approach. Yesterday concerned me a little bit just because I didn't really think that the Murray State pitching staff did anything special. I mean, they got outs, and so, you know, they achieved that. But it looks to me like there's some guys that might just, you know, kind of be swinging at some pitches that they've been laying off this year, and I think putting a little pressure on themselves to do something. So hopefully this, I don't know if you say it relaxes everybody, but we can project what we want on athletes sometimes. And this is still a team that's facing elimination, at least for the next 3 days if they can keep playing baseball. So we'll see how it affects them later tonight, hopefully, if we do get to play. But they do have to hit. I mean, there are ways to make it through a loser's bracket, but the best way to do it is to knock the crap out of the ball. And that's what this team does best. So I hope they get to that.
What's the weather like right now up there?
Well, from my window in the hotel, I can see a regular-looking cloudy sky here in Omaha. I think it's going to be okay for LSU and UCLA to resume. But I was in the elevator with some of the guys that I think were on the grounds crew, and they were talking about what the day looks like for later on. It may be a challenge for the Hogs to get on the field later tonight because there's still a game and a half that has to be played, and there may be rain around 4:30. So, I don't know. It could end up being a long day.
Well, all of that plays into this, and we'll see what happens with the UCLA-LSU game and how that affects, where it leaves either one of those teams. But this is just part of what happens in Omaha. So, Phil, I'm sure we'll talk again.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks for
It's a
hopping
great job,
on with
man.
us.
Great job.
Yeah. I mean, what a moment. And hopefully it just continues. Thanks for hopping on with us from Omaha this morning. And hopefully you got some sleep because you might have a long day.
Yeah. Take your sleeping bag there to the ballpark.
I've slept in baseball parks before. They won't let me do that here, unfortunately. I've asked them about that. Let me just leave you with one last thought. They love college baseball here. There's a columnist at the Omaha World Herald named Tom Shadle. He's been writing college baseball for years. And he makes a point in his column today. Get a load of this. Think of all the great pitchers who have appeared in Omaha in the past 65 years. Roger Clemens, Tom Seaver, Mike Mussina, Dave Winfield, Mark Pryor, Garrett Cole, on and on. None of them threw a no-hitter. It's kind of amazing, really. Isn't it?
That is another perspective of how you cannot overstate what happened.
You can't.
Phil, thanks again, man.
Thank you, Phil.
You got it. Yeah,
Appreciate
have a good day.
you. Yeah,
Bye.
you too. Phil Elson is the voice of the Razorback baseball team, and he got to make the call. Just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Those names.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Famers.
That's incredible. I mean, you run through that list right there. It's amazing. And Gage Wood's at the top of it right now, at least in terms of the College World Series.
Legacy and legendary means it's never going away.
Yeah.
It's there forever now. I mean,
you're
he
right.
has cemented
You're right.
his name in College World Series and college baseball history forever. I mean, yes, they got another game to play. But if we don't like slow down while we have a minute here and acknowledge it, then we're missing.
You're right. I think the all over the road reaction though is partly because nobody in their wildest dreams thought we would see something. We've not had a no-hitter at the College World Series in 65 years. There's a reason for that.
How about Gabe Gackel's performance in Game 1? We were raving about the job he did coming out of the bullpen, and it was remarkable.
Yeah.
And then you just took that to 5X the next
You know what
game.
it makes me want to do? Makes me want to go buy a Silverado truck.
Yeah, well, they're beautiful. I
They
saw
are
one
beautiful.
Driving down the road this morning.
Got them at Fayetteville Auto Park, Chevy of Fayetteville. But, you know, the auto park as a whole, I mean, the thing that really separates them, I think, is the brands. I mean, they've got Honda, Acura, Chevy, Toyota. They've got a wide selection of pre-owned automobiles. But it's after the sale. That's what really makes them what they are. It's why they've been around for 25 years. It's why people continue to come back and feel good doing it, because that's the way they serve you at Fayetteville Auto Park. And after the sale, you've got an award-winning collision department. You've got an award-winning service department. Hey, they want your service business. I mean, they want it. It becomes your one-stop automobile headquarters. It has for so many. That's why we recommend them. Because it's been good. And we've had a great relationship with them.
Yeah.
I think you will too. Fayetteville Auto Park, exit 67A in Fayetteville.
Always ready to talk about the Razorbacks in there.
They are.
Matt Hobbs is going to join us at 8:30. Yeah,
Good.
we'll talk to the Arkansas pitching coach who, wow, what a perspective he will have for us. Sterling has been holding. We'll do that next. And if you want to get in here, we'll get some of your reaction too. It's 8:17, the Chuck and Bo Show on a Tuesday. We're a little bit over our head here, but we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
As a play-by-play announcer, my eyes are everything. I need to see every detail on the field to call the game the right way. So when cataracts started affecting my vision, I knew I couldn't wait. I went to Dr. Betts and the team at McDonald Eye Associates. And truthfully, I wish I'd done it years ago. The difference is incredible. The whole experience was professional, easy, and honestly life-changing. If your vision's holding you back, take it from me. Don't put it off any longer. Schedule your appointment with McDonald Eye Associates today.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, it's Bo. And for me, business comes down to working with people I like and can count on. And that's Teamwork Roofing and Construction. They do what they say, they're on time, and when they're done, it's like they were never there and you have a brand new roof. Built with expert craftsmanship and the best materials. When it comes to commercial or residential roofing, get the customer care Teamwork Roofing and Construction offers. Check them out on their Facebook page. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Built on quality, powered by teamwork.
You know, I want Texas to lose. Yeah, I want them to rot in hell.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
one of the rules we set down when we started this show was we're not going to leave our best shots on the driving range.
We do it every day.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, everybody needs somebody to look out for them a time or two. Personal injury, Social Security disability, maybe you're just struggling with debt, credit cards got you down, something happened. Well, there's a team that'll fight for our cans. It's Bill Reynolds and the attorneys at Cadell Reynolds know how to get results when it matters most. Car wrecks, denied disability claims, or you're filing for bankruptcy. You don't have to face it alone. They'll let the experts help you out. Cadell Reynolds, 866-314-3728, or visit CadellReynolds.com for a free consultation. Cadell Reynolds, make the right call. Sterling has made the call to the Chuck and Bo Show. Thanks for holding, buddy. Time to get your thoughts on this legendary moment from Gage Wood. Sterling, good morning.
Hey guys, it is the best performance in the history of Arkansas baseball and in the history of Arkansas athletics. You got to determine the situation. It's a do or die game against a team that coming into this game. That this team was known to. There's one thing that they know they could do was hit. Now they may not face the velocity of Wood through the course of their season, but they did go on the road to an SEC school that was a national seed and beat them 2 out of 3 times and put up double-digit runs on them in the final game that they played. And the fact it's an elimination game in Omaha, the third time ever. And you know how great a performance it was. It was so great that a no-hitter was a disappointment. That's how great that performance was. That the no-hitter was slightly a disappointment because he had a perfecto going. And the only reason he lost it because he barely tipped the toe of a batter. It's unbelievable. And for him to immediately turn to page to the next game.
Yeah.
Wood did that. The man in the moment, the man that gets the accomplishment, the man that gets his name in the record book, immediately turn the page. I tell you what, I mean, I know momentum just as good as the next day starting pitching. But
it's,
this team, they got a chance.
It's got to be pointed out. It's got to be pointed out, though, and I got to say this. I don't care if Arkansas loses 15-0 tonight. It does not for one single second diminish what Gage Wood did yesterday. Let's not fall into the trap of thinking if Arkansas doesn't win the national championship that somehow what Gage Wood did doesn't matter as much, because that would not be true.
That's right, Chuck. But Chuck, we'll do that. We'll do that next week.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will concede that one. That's right awesome. There.
It is so weird. It's because it's in the middle of a tournament.
No, that is what makes it different. You're right.
But it's what it is, and you take the moment and you celebrate it.
And one more thing. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry about that, Bo. I'm so sorry about that. But one more thing. How many Razorback fans think that Murray State head coach, hitting coach, need to be fired? Or they should have tried to bunt?
Yeah, I don't know why they weren't bunting.
Yeah.
That 98-mile-per-hour heater, he seemed like you'd be able to deaden that really easy.
They were trying to get hit by pitch.
So I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Tip your cap. Tip your cap to the other guy. Anderson had a great performance. I'm with Field. I don't think Murray State pitchers was all that great. But I think that was more us than them. But Anderson was great, and that's what we should have did. Instead of complaining about our approach and this and that, we should have tipped our cap like we want the other team to do when we have a dominating performance.
That's right.
Yep.
Y'all guys have a great day.
You too, Sterling. Matt Hobbs, Arkansas pitching coach, will join us next on the Chuck and Bo Show. For Chuck Barrett, I'm Bo Madden.
Yeah.
Good morning. Hey, kids, how about a bagel?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
At the Stonebreaker Hotel, we believe in the art of gathering, whether over a thoughtfully prepared meal or a quiet moment on Markham Hill. Start your day with breakfast classics from the all-day menu, served from 7:30 to 1. Savor shareable bites from the bar and lounge menu until 10. And let the dinner menu from 5 to 9 bring familiar flavors with a fresh twist. And for a weekend well spent, how about brunch? Rooted in connection, designed for comfort. Learn more at StonebreakerHotel.com.
I am amazed at the number of people who think they're smart.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
These are all the messages I've gotten, and it's still going. I've gained over 2,000 followers on Instagram. Twitter, I haven't even got to look, really.
We keep threatening to show behind the scenes live on the stream. It's going to happen someday. We're all going to get fired for it. There's just like total chaos.
It's mayhem around here. It really is.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
It gives us a lot of options tomorrow to whoever we play, and obviously, like, we knew that we were going to need to probably try to get through today's game with 2 or 3 guys, and Gage decided it was just going to be 1.
That's Matt Hobbs, the Arkansas pitching coach, who joins us now on the Chuck and Bo Show after a legendary performance from his starting pitcher, Gage Wood. Coach, did you get much sleep last night?
Yeah, slept like a baby. Anytime you win, you sleep great.
I wonder how many texts you got, how many messages. I'm going to guess everybody's phone was blowing up.
Yeah, I think people are excited about, obviously, the game. And most importantly, I hope people are excited that we get to continue to play. So that was what we were most excited about, obviously, once you step away from the game and you look back on how incredible that kid was. You're very excited that you get to continue to play. So, there's a lot of great things happened yesterday, that's for sure.
Chuck and I have been talking about this all morning. It's such an incredible performance. It's maybe the most dominating pitching performance in the modern day of college baseball, certainly at the College World Series. The other 2 no-hitters happened before aluminum bats. I mean, this is like on another level. I don't think there's been a complete game at the College World Series since 2018, let alone a no-hitter. But it's in the middle of a tournament. You're in a do-or-die situation. Like, it's an elimination game. You're trying to win the tournament. And then you have this once-in-a-lifetime moment right in the middle of it. Is it – I don't know if it's weird, but, like, how do you manage the emotions of all that and get on to the next game?
It was tough in the moment, let me tell you that. It was like they're celebrating on the field, and I was like, geez, when you have to step back away from it and say, yeah, that was awesome. We got a game tomorrow. We got to play somebody tomorrow. So I think that, obviously the game itself, throwing the no-hitter and doing it in such dominant fashion, striking on 19 guys, and then doing it in an elimination game, and the emotions of all of those things that are happening. And, it's an emotional place to play, right? You're in Omaha. It's like the pinnacle of your baseball career. And then to do that on that stage, like, gives you goosebumps. And then, the same time, you got to come back down quick because there is a game today. So we have to make sure that the team is still hooked up. And again, what he did was incredible. And I hope I'm not underselling it, but it saved our bullpen immeasurably yesterday. It gave us a chance to not use anybody else, which some things like that have to happen if you're going to make a run.
I want to get back to that part, but I want to ask you first, though, about just in the game, in the moment, when you've got a pitcher that's working the way he was. I know, it's understood in baseball you don't go talk to him, but you're his pitching coach. So it's a little different. You got a different set of rules. How do you handle that? How did you handle it?
So I just kept looking at every once in a while. I'd glance up at the board to see if the velocity was still okay. So I was going to let that give me a inroad into whether or not he was still doing good. And then I talked to Ryder quite a bit during the game, just like, hey, how's he doing? What's it look like? I stopped talking to Gage in the 5th inning. So innings 1 through 4, I'd go over there and we'd talk about sequences, or we'd talk about a pitch that I thought was a strike and I wanted his perspective, or we'd talk about how he was feeling or whatever, the normal stuff you talk about with your guy during the game. And then in the 5th, I realized, like, man, this guy hadn't got a hit yet. Or we haven't even had a base running. He hadn't even pitched at a stretch. So I'm going to stop talking to him because he's rolling. And, Gage gets this look in his eye when it's going really good. And sometimes they catch it on camera. It's just like he's locked in.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a whole lot to say to him at that point. I just kept on communicating with the catcher. And the only thing that I did is in the 8th inning it was a super emotion. So the guy calls time, 0-2. Gage does what he does on the mound, and it becomes super emotional. And no one in the dugout wanted that to be the reason that to be the thing that got him off the rails. Because that can happen to kids just in the moment. It's so emotional and can just pull you out. It can pull you out of your approach. And so the only thing I said to him after the 8th inning was, hey, man, I got to ask, you're at 106 pitches. How you feeling? and it was pretty obvious he was feeling good.
That's great.
I'll leave the interaction
That's
at
a
that.
good way to put it.
And then I just told him to calm down. Like, you got to calm down in here. Like, pitch with emotion out there, calm down in here. 'Cause it was, I mean, I probably don't have to say it, but it was getting a little, X-rated in the dugout.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, boy, you can see that in his eyes, man.
No.
And so now you move forward, and I don't know if you can tell us, but obviously everybody wants to know, all right, who's next? Who goes on the mound next?
Well, it'd be great if we know who we were playing next.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know that.
Maybe
We
you'll
don't-
find out by lunch.
I guess we'll find out in the middle of the day. So good luck to all the people doing scouting reports.
Yeah.
We play UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know, honestly. Like, I think you got options. I mean, Root only threw 38 pitches the other day. He's an option. You know, Beidelshe's has started games. He's an option. Jimenez has started games. He's an option. But, you know, this time of year, you guys have been around this enough. All hands on deck, baby.
Yeah, you're probably gonna need a lot of people by the time it's all said and done.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
We will need every single one of them by the time it's all said and done.
And maybe this is a weird question too, but how do you manage the rest of the staff having watched that hey, you don't have to go out and do that. Like, you just need to be you.
Yeah. I hope nobody thinks they're going to do that. I told the pitchers this yesterday when I was meeting with them. I said, you could play baseball for 25 more years. You'll never see anything like that again. So all we have to do is, but I think you have to do what he did, right? I mean, he got ahead in the count. He threw multiple pitches for strikes, and he competed inside the strike zone until he got to 2 strikes, and then he left the zone with aggressive pitches. Like, anyone, like, they can all do that. It might not be a no-hitter, and they might not punch out 19 guys. In fact, they're probably not going to, but you can do those things. Like, you can do the things that made him successful are available to any pitcher on our pitching staff. Now, he throws 98 miles an hour, and he's got, like, one of the best breaking balls in the country, so that might not be available to everybody. But the bones of what he did is available to all of them. They're all capable of doing those things.
Boy, you're so right. You mentioned first pitch strikes. I mean, Anderson did it the other night for LSU. Wood did it yesterday. I mean, in this setting, I mean, a first pitch strike, I don't know that you can overstate the importance of that.
No, it's the best pitch in baseball, right? I mean, I think that's still a thing in baseball. If you throw strike one, you have a better chance to get the at bat over with.
It sounds right.
I don't know. I don't know what the advanced analytics say on that, but like, it's still, and we're guilty of this, right? I mean, we've got every toy you can imagine in our pitching center to help guys get better. We've got biomechanics. We've got force plates. We've got every camera you can think of. We've got it all. And the bottom line is strike one still wins. We faced a guy yesterday from Murray State that threw strike one, and if you put those two guys next to each other, one's a fifth-year senior throwing 90 miles an hour, the other guy's a jet engine throwing a 98. It's the same thing. It's like they both threw strike one, and that guy gave up 1 run in 6 innings, and our guy gave up no runs in 6 innings, or I guess no runs in 9 innings. But like the nuts and bolts of pitching, as much as people want to make it out like it's some kind of we're all like mad scientists or something, like the nuts and bolts of pitching are still the same thing they were doing when the guys were the no-hitter in 1960. Same thing. You're ahead in the count. You give yourself a chance. And hitters, like, there's no such. Everybody talks about 2-strike hitting. There's no such thing as a good 2-strike hitter. Like,
that's right.
They all hit below 200. If you look at the statistics, and our game is a game of statistics. They all hit below 200. As soon as there's 2 strikes on them, they get out over 80% of the time.
Wow.
If you just get them to 2 strikes, it's like that's all pitching boils down to is a race to 2 strikes. And as soon as you get them to 2 strikes, if you have elite stuff like some of our guys, most of our guys have something that's elite, you have a really good chance to strike them out.
That's
get them out.
Such a good look at it. I love that insight. Matt Hobbs, the Arkansas pitching coach, with us. This is just a baseball question. So, I'm thinking about LSU throwing their number 2 guy last night, and then the game gets rained out. I don't know how many pitches he threw, but I'm just going to guess it was like 40 or something like that. And then you got to come back out and play at 10 a.m. today. Explain for people who aren't in it like you are, Like, why can you not just bring a guy back like the next day? And how challenging is that for somebody like you if you have to face something like that?
So you got to consider a few things when you're looking at what to do. One, it's tournament baseball, and things get wonky in tournament baseball. Guys do things they haven't been doing, so that's a factor. Second factor is, has he done anything close to that in the last 12 months? And the answer for that guy is probably no. I haven't watched every time he's pitched, but I think he only threw out of the bullpen one time, and I think it was in the SEC tournament with a piggyback with Anderson in Game 1. So that becomes something you have to take into consideration. It's not like he's a guy that goes out there and finesses the ball in there in 90-91 and doesn't throw a lot of breaking balls. That guy throws a high-volume content of breaking balls, which, if you look at, it's not exactly like that pitch is easy on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
And, he throws in the he also throws in the mid-90s. So that's another consideration. It's not like he's out there, soft tossing or anything like that. Like, these guys are, like, pretty high-level pitchers. And they do high-level things. They have high-level stuff. And that's not easy to bring back to back. It's like one of the reasons why we hardly ever use Christian Fauch on back-to-back days. It's like the guy throws 100 miles an hour. That eventually takes a toll. So those things have to be in consideration. And then you have to look at, all right, well, what else do we have? Because that's going to be a factor, too. Who else has started? What else? Are we going to cobble this game together? How many innings do we have left to play? When can Ianson come back again? Something that we considered when we took Root out, quite frankly, was like, win or lose this game, he's at least available in a couple days. And that was a factor for us.
Yeah.
We didn't second guess that situation at all. It's like, it's not going well right now. We know he's better than this, certainly. And honestly, Ianson was getting hit too. So, and I'm sure we know he's better than this,
Yeah.
What's our best chance to get the best out of him? Is it to just continue to let him muddle through this thing? If he goes back out there today, or like we did with Ruse, like just get him out of there and put in the other guy that's really good. And, LSU has no shortage of really good pitching. So I'm sure that they have guys that can go do that also. And I think that there's like a million things and factors that go into this. And you can't, honestly, it's like you're going to talk to the kid and ask how he feels, but he's going to tell you he feels okay. Like, that's what these kids, like, these kids, I love them all. Professional liars, man.
That's awesome.
When it comes to stuff like, it's like they're going to want the ball. They're going to want to pitch. They're never tired. They're always good for one more. They can always get the next guy out. It's like, that's why they'll have to look into the things that they value in terms of making pitching decisions to make a good decision. And their staff is good. They're not going to put the kid in jeopardy, certainly. And, that's another consideration you got to look at. It's like, that kid's probably going to be a second or third, maybe a first rounder, back end first rounder. This dude has a future after baseball, after us. The same thing you have to, like, and people don't want to hear that, but those are considerations you absolutely have to make when you're looking at, these kids trust us when they say yes, right? When they say, I want to come to Arkansas or LSU or wherever they're going to come. They want to come, they're going to say, yes, I want to go be there. And honestly, like when Gage got to 106 yesterday, I was like, God, we got to take him out. I hate saying this, but we got to take him out of the game. And then, like I said, we had that interaction, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to, like, I got 3 kids, man. I need to see tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't want to have to fight him right here in the dugout. He's a lot younger.
That's incredible.
Well, I need to see tomorrow. I need to be there for my children as well. And if I take Gage Wood out, it's going to be like that. The story won't be the 8 no-hit innings. It'll be the pitching coach dead.
Oh man, that's a great look at the level of competitiveness and the chaos that we're already seeing in Omaha. So while we just sit back and be entertained by it, good luck to you and Coach Van Horn and Thompson and Wernes, the rest of the staff on just figuring it all out. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. As always, I appreciate you guys having me on, and hopefully we can keep talking about winning some ball games down here.
We all get smarter when you come on, so we appreciate it. We are not penalized by Chuck when you.
That's so good, man. That's so good.
Yeah.
If I did one thing well this year, it was that.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
All right.
Talk soon.
See you guys.
All right. Appreciate it. Matt Hobbs, Arkansas pitching coach. That was great. It's the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. I want to see you and Bart in the old 3-legged race.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Let me just.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, summer's heating up, and Splash Car Wash is keeping your ride looking fresh with a special deal just for listeners of the Chuck and Bo Show. Right now, buy one Best Wash and get 2 free. One for you, one for your spouse, one for a friend, or just keep them all. It's an easy way to stay clean, cool, and cruising all summer long. That's 3 top-tier washes for just $27. Text Splash Car Wash to 22322 to access this exclusive online-only offer.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yingling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yingling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yingling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
With rainy season here and summer just around the corner, make sure your gutters are ready. Hogcroft Gutters, locally owned with over 30 years of experience, does it all. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching and French drain. Fully licensed and insured with a 20-year warranty on every job. Serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. And for a free inspection, visit hoggutters.com. That's hoggutters.com.
So I spent yesterday, you don't mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
idiot.
Yeah. Man, it's flown by today.
Oh, wow.
Hey, if you're having trouble with your gutters or the drainage around your home, Hog Trough Gutters is the company we recommend. They're locally owned and operated. They've been doing this a while, 30 years, as a matter of fact, and they do it all. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching, French drains. They're fully licensed and insured, and every job comes with a 20-year warranty. They service all of Northwest Arkansas. They're in the River Valley. Learn more about them. Log on to hoggutters.com.
William in Lafayette, Louisiana. Fire away, William.
Good morning. How y'all today?
Doing
We're
good. How
man.
are you?
Doing well. I would like to touch on something Coach Hobbs mentioned, and he's very impressive, by the way. But, Gage Wood had a phenomenal outing, but I don't want to lose sight of what Ryder Helfrich did.
Yep.
He had to catch all those pitches. And, look, I heard Nolan Ryan one time talk about no-hitters, and he kind of mentioned the same thing Coach Hobbs did. Nolan Ryan said when he was in the groove, the first person that knew he was in that groove was his catcher. And his catcher was the one that kind of let everybody know, hey, he's got it today. And that's why they started getting away from him and not getting in his head. So he said the catcher was so essential to all those no-hitters. He said he remembered every catcher that ever caught every no-hitter.
Yeah. Well,
And then someone else, he said one other thing I thought was fascinating, and it wasn't Nolan that threw the no-hitter. I can't remember the pitcher, but he said the most impressive no-hitter he ever saw was when they had to change catchers around the 5th or 6th inning, and they completed the no-hitter. He said, you have no idea how difficult that is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up and share that with you guys.
Well,
Great show.
yeah.
Go Hogs.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Bo.
No, I'm just going to agree with you. And Ryder Helfrich has gotten a lot of attention and credit from the announcers throughout the postseason. Matt Hobbs gave it to him yesterday. Everybody in the world knows now. He calls all the pitches. But his comfortability, Chuck, behind the plate for this pitching staff can't be understated either.
Oh, no. And pitchers and catchers have that relationship that when it's right, it means everything. And when it's wrong, it can screw everything up. That's why certain pitchers like to throw to certain catchers. You see that often in the big leagues.
UCLA and LSU will resume in the 4th inning. Tigers up 5-3 in an hour. 10 a.m. in Omaha. Thunder go up 3-2. You want to play any of this action, you can go to the Oaklawn Sports app and find out what the odds are going to be later today on this baseball game. Arkansas's best sports betting app. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports. Almost 9 o'clock. We'll try again tomorrow.
Fly like a VIP with Jet Aircraft. You skip the TSA lines, skip baggage claim, and fly on your schedule. The plane doesn't leave until you get there. You enjoy a full bar and food service for up to 9 passengers and plenty of room for luggage. Wherever you need to fly to or from, whether it's a special trip to the College World Series or golfing with buddies, round up your crew, split the cost, and fly private. Also, ask about the Jet card. Visit JetNWA.com. That's Jet with 2 T's.
As a play-by-play announcer, my eyes are everything. I need to see every detail on the field to call the game the right way. So when cataracts started affecting my vision, I knew I couldn't wait. I went to Dr. Betts and the team at McDonald Eye Associates. And truthfully, I wish I'd done it years ago. The difference is incredible. The whole experience was professional, easy, and honestly life-changing. If your vision's holding you back, take it from me. Don't put it off any longer. Schedule your appointment with McDonald Eye Associates today.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life.